First of all, welcome to the channel and thank you for stopping by. When time permits, please consider subscribing. I would greatly appreciate it. When I got back into riding, one of the first things I wanted to do was get a headset that would allow me to answer the phone. The reason being, for work, I'm on call all of the time, and I like to sneak out on weekends because here in New York you have a limited riding season. What I did was I took a look on Amazon at what the prices were. Never having had a headset, I wasn't necessarily looking to buy something incredibly expensive. And incredibly expensive is exactly what I was seeing. There were two markets essentially. There was the higher end market, which was a Cardo, and then there was the low end market. Since I hadn't had a headset before, I went ahead and chose the low market to begin. This is the headset I went with. It did not have mesh. It did not have easy connection to other devices. In fact, connecting it to a second one for my wife to use took about 20 minutes the first time and 2 YouTube videos to make it work. However, once it was connected, I used it for 3 years without any issue at all. These were $50 each. The main problem I did have with it was my friends all had Cardos. For a group ride in South Carolina, affectionately known as Tim Fest, I picked up this Cardo Black. And other than the extreme pain of paying $400 for something that essentially did on a day-to-day basis what my $50 unit did, it's been wonderful. Absolutely fantastic. And it did take care of the one little problem that I ran into with the inexpensive unit, and that was volume up and down. This not only does a very good job of maintaining the volume going up and down with speed, but if it doesn't, you can very easily make a change to it, which I couldn't do with the Chinese $50 headset. The problem was, it's still crazy expensive. Now, there had to be something in between, right? You can't be looking at a $400 or a $50 option. There's got to be something in between that'll have a few of the features that this has, if not all of them, but without that crazy Cardo price tag. Enter the ASMAX. These nice folks reached out to me and said, we have a headset we'd like to have some Cardo users test and let us know what they think of our product coming from Cardo users. Top of the line, great headset, does everything well. What will their significantly cheaper priced product do for you? So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take this out of the box, read the instructions a little bit, mount it in a helmet, and then we're going to go out and test this unit. Here we have the ASMAX F1 communication system. Supports mesh, voice commands, up to 10 people with a 1.8 kilometer range, noise reduction, and I don't think any of that matters. Let's take a look. The ASMAX is comparable in size to the Cardo. Here we have the Cardo Black, the ASMAX, and the new Cardo. First thing I notice is that we don't have the wheel. If there's anything that makes a Cardo worth the money you pay for it, it's that wheel. Especially with the new Cardo. This model changes volume quite well as you speed up and slow down. This unit, not so much. I find myself using this right here significantly. I am somewhat concerned that I will need to press a button, which with gloves on may not be as easy as just rolling the wheel. This system works amazingly well, and I am looking forward to other brands stealing the idea. Why not? Now the packaging is absolutely premium. Not that that matters once the unit is in use, but it's a nice touch. Microphone, mounting hardware, stickers, mount for your helmet, pretty flexible. Hopefully that will work with the helmet I'm going to use. I'm sure it'll be fine. Wow, that is a heavy-duty braided cable for charging. This is another feature I'm happy to see. Some of the less expensive units don't use USB-C and use proprietary. Now, let's open up the two most important parts. Looking at the speakers, indistinguishable from the ones that come with the Cardo. Max branded, decent heft to them. Nice and wide, which is bad for my ears because I never have enough room in there, but that does indicate we'll probably get a very good sound out of these. Just as we do with the Cardo, we have two options. We have the boom mic and we have the little bitty mic that you can just stick on the inside. Traditionally, I've always gone with the boom mic. However, when I moved to the new Cardo, I did start using this, and as far as I can tell, it's working fine. No one has complained about the quality of sound. So I'm more than likely going to consider using this with the ASMAX as well. I'm expecting this is going to go into the helmet exactly as a Cardo does. This, I mean, it all looks like it was produced in the same factory. Now, I was sure that this ASMAX boom mic looked incredibly familiar. Here we have it sitting next to my Cardo Black microphone, and as you can see, they're really, really similar, right down to the exact same connector on the end. Now this again is for the Cardo Black, not for the new one. I imagine if I were to dig out the microphone for my new Cardo, it would be absolutely identical. These are 99% the same. If these aren't made in the same factory, I would be shocked. And that's great because the Cardo mic is fantastic, and I think we can expect the ASMAX one will be as well. Okay, time to get this installed. Similar to the latest Cardo, this has a magnetic attachment. If you drop it there, I can lift the helmet with it. So there's no reason to believe that's going to go anywhere. Something that is going to throw me though is the release for this is in the opposite direction of the Cardo. Okay, let's get this out there and test it. Okay, I am on the beginning of my second week with the ASMAX. And what I've found is that it performs very, very well with one caveat, which we'll get to soon. But right now, let's just go over some of the features that work quite well, including, while I do prefer the roll or jog that you have for like a Cardo where you can go up and down with the volume, that button here quite easy to get to. It's, even with gloves on, it's very easy to find. I do find that getting the volume down requires me to go back a little bit farther than I'm expecting to. So when I'm trying to put the volume down, I do sometimes miss it. But it's pretty good for volume up and volume down. And the most important thing is, in the app, you can turn on the feature where the headset adjusts the volume based on how fast you're going. So I'm doing 55 and I've got the volume set where I like it. And even when I increase my speed just a little bit, there's a lot more wind noise. This is a very turbulent bike, but the volume has raised to compensate for it, and I don't need to sit here, take my hands off the bars and play with it. So that is fantastic. Now, the headset that did that the best of any I've ever tried is the old Cardo Black. I don't think I ever used the jog wheel to adjust it. However, with the newest Cardo, the Edge, I find myself up here all the time. It just doesn't work. It's a little loud for me, I gotta turn it down. But with this unit, I have absolutely no problems. I think I've turned it up manually 2 or 3 times in 2 weeks, and that was on the highway. But I would say 98% of the time, it realizes how fast I'm going and it adjusts appropriately.
I mean, I have my windscreen on the lowest setting right now, and I don't really move it from there unless I'm going on a long highway trip. So it's entirely possible that if I'd had that at the highest point, this would have been absolutely perfect. However, it is really important to realize gloves, buttons, no problem. I can adjust that volume. There, I can't even hear it anymore. And now let's talk about the caveat. So the headset, it does everything you want to. The controls are easy to manipulate. It comes on in seconds, it turns off in seconds. We'll talk about the hardware a little more when I'm back in the studio, but just on the bike, great, it works great. However, the caveat is I cannot properly test the voice commands. And the reason for that is I have a Samsung Galaxy S22 phone. And even when I disable the assistants, when I go and say, "Hi Max," pause music. When I say that phrase, it always picks it right up, no problem, even on the highway. The dilemma is, some of the time, my phone will transfer that information over to Google Assistant. And it works. Like, I just paused everything, no problem whatsoever. Unfortunately, that doesn't always work. And this is a problem only because of my darn phone. I mean, the headset picks everything right up, commands go right through, but sometimes I have to open up the screen, like right now. Google is sitting here waiting for me to do something else. Google shouldn't even be active. This is quite annoying. Cancel. Hi Max. Play Evanescence. Now, if Google was not sitting there stuck, and this has worked many times, it would have gone into my Apple Music, realized I have like 5 Evanescence albums, and it would have started playing that music. But unfortunately, my phone, not entirely compatible with headsets. And it's important to say not compatible with headsets in that I don't even enable it on Cardo because of how unreliable it is, because my phone thinks that you should either have Bixby, Amazon, or Google handling all voice commands. And I did try using the other two. It's even worse than Google. So unfortunately, if you're looking to use voice commands with a headset, you need to make sure your phone is not going to have a problem, because even if, like the ASMAX, it picks everything up, my stupid phone is filtering it through nonsense. And if you have a Samsung phone, there's a chance it's going to happen to you too. But again, that problem is not an ASMAX problem. That is a Samsung problem. All right, that's enough of this. We'll close this out in the office.
This ASMAX headset is the second best headset I've used. It is superior, in my opinion, to my Cardo Edge. The Cardo Black was amazing in every way, and especially in the fact that it was rock solid at adjusting its own volume, and it had industry-leading battery life. This does not quite match that in either of those features, but it's close enough, and it is indeed superior to the Cardo Edge that I own. The Cardo Edge that I paid $400 for. And honestly, I recommend this more wholeheartedly than anything, with the possible exception of Hurricane bags, which I absolutely love. This is simply the product to get. The only reason I would recommend not getting this product, the ASMAX F1, is if all of your friends have Cardo. If you need to be in the Cardo system because your buddies are there, I get it. Go buy a Cardo. But if you're looking for a unit for yourself, or if you and your buddies are looking for a mesh system to buy into, buy into this right here. There's nothing else that can be said. If you stuck around, I really appreciate it, and take care.